up somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Oh yes, my Straight Talk family, I know you've heard that music, and once you've heard that music, then you know it's time for another edition of Straight Talk. And I'm a little bit tardy one more time, and I do humbly, really humbly apologize for that. And I trust you'll accept that. Forgive me. It's not the Culturama fever. We had a little break for Culturama. It's probably got too much rest, so I'm still in the mood of resting. And my Straight Talk family, let me say greetings to the entire world, because we are on the World Wide Web. We reach and we communicate with you wherever you are in the globe. And we come to you from the wonderful, beautiful Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, 2 islands and 1 lovely paradise. So I am at I find it imperative, I should say, to say good night, St. Kitts and Nevis, and good night to the entire Caribbean region, and to my Straight Dog family in the Kittitian and Nevian diaspora. I say greetings to the world, my Straight Dog family. And I know that some of you are in Africa. There are some of you in Asia. There are some of you in Europe. And there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I will say good morning, I can, and will say good morning. And I'm at liberty to say good afternoon as well, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And there are many of you who continue to share the link, and for that I'm eternally grateful, because when you do so, we get first-timers. And for the first-timers, I want to welcome you and trust and hope it will not be your last time. And if you love it, and just to inform you rather, that Straight Talk comes your way every Monday night and Thursday night from 8 to 10 in the PM. And if you are a first-timer and you love it, go tell the whole world. If you do not, get in contact with me and tell me. But just to let you know as well that it is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline free expression on all issues of national, regional, and international interests, be they legal, environmental, technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express yourselves and underline this freely. On this program, we try to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse by alerting all of our people, wherever you are, to your rights, to your responsibilities, and certainly to your obligations. And my name is Ian Patches Liebird, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And as your host, I will always hasten to pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. By that I mean, I'm always reminded, I should say, by the words of a very favorite hymn of mine written by Thomas Jackson and Franz Joseph Haydn. An excerpt goes something like this: we are called to be God's people, or God's prophets, I should say, speaking for the truth and right, standing firm for godly justice, bringing evil things to light. So let's seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we all may know the blessing of the doing of God's will. So my Straight Talk family, and especially for the first-timers, let me assure you that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program to make it more interesting, and neither by omission or by exaggeration. We are not about sensationalism or creating excitement, especially at the expense of accuracy, because we always lean on the facts, believe me, as it is my bounden duty to present to you the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance, transparency, and integrity wherever you are on this globe. Because we reach and we touch you across the Federation, yes. We are joined with people in the diaspora around the world. Some we know, some we do not know. Some we met and may never ever meet physically, that is, in particular. And some we will agree, and some of us will disagree. Because we're different people, and we promote what I call a diversity of views. But please, let us not ever become disagreeable, because that would sadden me if we ever become disagreeable. So let's thank Almighty God in the meanwhile for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us therefore hope and pray for the day when we will all sing his praise together. My Straight Dog family, we are one family. Believe it or not, we are one family. So welcome again, my people. And I want to thank you again for sharing the link. Please continue to do so. I must always remind you, though, that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we entertain your calls and we entertain your emails. And if you're so minded, call in. The numbers are on your screen. 663-6672. That's a local number. And 646-829-6672. That's your overseas number. And for those who like what I call the cloak of anonymity, we give you access via our email platform. And that address is on your screens as well. That's Straight Talk, that's one word, Straight Talk Patches, that is one word, at gmail.com. And we are also heard live on Alexa. For those of you who have access to Alexa, you know, just say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio. We continue to thank Massive for facilitating Straight Talk at a nominal cost. And as we say cost, some of you have made donations as well to support our efforts here on Straight Talk. And for that, I say a big, big thank you. Let me reassure you as well that no matter what the contribution may be, don't stop, because it helps us to continue this very important public service. Yes, it's public service. Others who may wish to donate can simply scan the code on your screen to access the payment form. So we thank you again for your support and for helping us to keep the dialogue alive. No matter how much time is left, I always am duty bound to hail my junior brigade, the Straight Talk Junior Brigade, that is. Young Dwayne, Tristan, Shama, Kevin, Rue, Jamal, Travis and Trevon, my grandson Nemo, and his good friend Soraya, and that special lady in St. Louis. We always start with our observations, which are a highlight of the current issues. We do some reflection, we may ask some questions. And after our observations and review, we will begin our thesis for tonight, which I have titled, After 3 long years, the Drew government still can't find its way. It's true. So please don't change your link. Don't change that platform. Spread the word that Straight Dog is live on social media, YouTube, Facebook, and Alexa. And my first observation relates to someone who we believe deserves high praise. Someone who deserves high praise for demonstrating what I call an act of patriotism, as it must have took a patriotic mind, beg your pardon. And it took the patriotic mind of Michael Big Banana Bridgewater, a tourism ambassador in his own right, to replace that long missing sign on the Kim Collins Highway, that stretch of road between the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Airport roundabout and those roundabouts, the islands as they call them, just next to the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank headquarters. And Michael B, as we call him sometimes, he took it upon himself at his own expense, repaired those signs and replanted them so that when the tourists or visitors, wherever you come from, even our own people, we are reminded, certainly, that we once had the fastest man in the world, whose name is Kim Collins. And the bypass road, as it was once referred to, now called the Kim Collins Highway. As I said, it was renamed in honor of our track and field hero, Kim Collins, who won the gold in the World Games, at the World Games. I think it was back in 2003. So kudos to Michael B, to Michael Big Banana Bridgewater for putting on his patriotic cap. And a real tourism ambassador he is, I can tell you. And but he made certain that the legacy of our sporting hero lives on. And we must give him kudos for expressing a profound humility as well in the process. As Michael told me, that Kim Collins deserves it. And my Straight Dog family, we need more citizens, I can say, like Michael B. Big Banana Bridgewater. Kudos to my brother and friend. Our second observation, my Straight Dog family, relates to our Prime Minister, Dr. Terence Michael Drew. And I venture to say, I don't believe he ever played sports, especially cricket. Because if he did, he would have learned the saying and the strategy, as we say in cricket, leave it alone. It's outside the off stump, leave the ball alone. Down the leg side, leave it alone. Meaning, if a bowler pitches a ball too wide down the leg side, or as I said, outside your off stump, there's no need for a batsman to risk losing his wicket by attempting to play such a ball. And it is in this context I put the procurement of 4 or 5 ambulances by the Terence Michael Drew administration. Remember, my Straight Dog family, that Prime Minister Drew told us about, very early in his term of office, about 15 brand new dialysis machines. And later he was exposed as a blatant liar. He told us the machines were in storage, recall. He even told us that the vast majority of these machines were good. Remember he said this, my Straight Dog family.
So these machines were donated from a major hospital in Canada through one of our experts, one of our nationals who live there in the diaspora, Mr. Estridge, who is a technician, a specialized person in these. And so these machines were donated to us. These are very good machines that were donated to us by the institution that have been passed. When we got these machines, it was in the winter. And because it was in the winter, you couldn't ship them because whatever substances they have in their structure, the cold would freeze it. And so we took the decision to store them in a warm storage area. That is why they didn't come earlier. And then once spring came and the temperature went back up, that is when we decided to ship them to St. Kitts and Nevis. So they're in very good stead. We have turned them on, and the vast majority of them are in condition.
Well, he said at first there were 15 new dialysis machines. Why would you need to put 15 new machines in storage because of the weather? But then he recanted and said the vast majority of them were good. But right now, my Straight Talk family, a storm is brewing about the new ambulances that Dr. Drew promised since 2024. And in July last month, he bought or begged for 4 used ambulances, then gave some flimsy excuse about TDC. And what nonsense, because there are many countries throughout the world where new ambulances can be bought off the shelf. We don't necessarily have to buy Toyota ambulances. No disrespect to TDC. Does Nissan manufacture ambulances? But there's so many ambulances of different models that can be bought. So you ask yourselves, why do we need these second-hand ambulances and have to wait until they're manufactured by the principles of TDC? No doubt it's Toyota, I trust. But when I expose Terence Michael Drew attacks Timothy Harris and Team Unity, also the St. Kitts Nevis Times that uncovered the story, instead of, as I said, a good cricketer, leave it alone. Leave it alone, Terence Drew. It's outside the off stump. He now tries to make the point about Labour bringing more ambulances than Team Unity. What nonsense. But Labour had 20 years in office and had an ambulance problem back then. And the same thing is happening now. They are back, albeit with a communist Marxist doctor now at the helm. A former permanent secretary who took credit for introducing the EMS said that it is practical and not unprecedented to have or use ambulances. And that is true, because our first set of ambulances came from Nova Scotia, I think, in Canada. But what the former PS did not tell us, that one of the 5 used ambulances had to be towed from the port in Birdrock to the fire station compound. And it may still be there for all we know, that ambulance parked in the fire station yard. And lest we forget, my Straight Dog family, that in 2014, the Labour government introduced some 14 tri-ambulets from Dubai, my Straight Dog family. And I recall the then Minister of Health, then the Honorable Marcella Liebert, now Governor General, Your Excellency, good night. And I recall she tested that triambulet, one of the 14 that came to St. Kitts and Nevis. So under every Labour government, ambulances were always a problem. And then, don't forget as well, Mark Brantley got his fair share of 3 of these ambulances that went over to Nevis. So, why are we talking now about ambulances? But recall that Terence Michael Drew told us that he received 2 of the 4 ambulances, that's the used ambulances to date, my Straight Dog family, And all told, we are expected to have some nine ambulances total. Do we need 9? But we will have 9 ambulances, 4 used, and apparently, I have to say apparently, because we can never ever trust the words of Terence Michael Drew. But he told us in Parliament last week this.
That today we received yesterday we received the first 2 of the fleet of ambulances that we'll be having here in St. Kitts and Nevis. So those 2 should be handed over tomorrow. But as I said, there was a delay because of the supply chain issues, and we are expected to receive all by November 2025. And so, Madam Deputy Speaker, we know that these 2 adding to the fleet will make a significant difference. We'll make sure never again that there is a dearth of ambulances here on St. Kitts. This would ensure that the emergency services will always be delivering its service at a very high level.
And that's true. According to his Facebook post, 2 of the fleet, as his Facebook post informed us, Labour delivers again. The largest ambulance fleet is on the way. 5 new to arrive by November. TDC indicated a delay due to supply chain issues, and 2 of the 4 refurbished ones are here to fill the immediate gap. That's what our Prime Minister told us. So we'll have 4 used and 5 new. Well, we are waiting. But those are my observations in review for tonight, my Straight Dog family. And you know, we can never trust a word coming from the mouth of Terence Michael July. I now move to my thesis, and those are my observations in review, I should say. And I now move to my thesis, which I have titled for tonight, After 3 long years, the Jew government still can't find its way. My Straight Talk family, it is common knowledge that on August the 5th of the year of our Lord 2022, St. Kitts and Nevis went into an unprecedented election that resulted in what many call a government by default. So just yesterday, was it? Day before yesterday, on the 5th of August, he celebrated the 3rd year of this government by default. From the onset, it was easy to recognize that what derived from the said election was an incompetent leader and a cabinet of inexperienced men and women, yet he chose to label them as his team filled with experts. Those were his words, my Straight Dog family. Those were his words and not mine. A team filled with experts is what he called them. A team filled with experts, yes, he called them. Some reason it seemed to be some malfunction here. Yes, I'll get that sorted out. Yes. my straight talk family, I do apologize for that little glitch. But you know, it is customary that I provide the evidence, and you must forgive me, my straight talk family, for that. And this time around, I failed to do so. But yes, he did say his cabinet is filled with experts. Or his exact words, he had a team filled with experts. But my straight talk family, moving on. It was not too long before the country realized that all these experts had one thing in common. They were all experts in telling lies. Recall, my straight dog family, that our grandparents taught us. My grandmother taught us that a liar is a thief. Ironically, former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago also told his people the same thing. He told his people this, my straight dog family.
It raises a question, ladies and gentlemen. If they cannot speak the truth in small things, imagine what they will do in big things. My mother used to say, show me a liar and I'll show you a thief.
And if they cannot tell the truth in small things, said Patrick Manning, how can we trust them in big things? So very early, many started to ponder as to whether we might just have elected a cabinet of thieves. To make matters worse, the chief advisor to the Prime Minister, Drew, to the Federation, said that they were all easily bribed. So there was an urgent need to increase their salaries to avoid corruption, my straight dog family. The chief advisor said this to the world.
In order to discourage ministers being corrupt, they should be paid well. In order to discourage ministers being corrupt, they should be paid well.
And they got paid well, my straight dog family. According to the advice of the disgraced Attorney General, in order to discourage his colleague ministers to being corrupt. Pay them well, he says. So their mission, it was clear, was about money. They were seasoned with corruption, and their criminal behavior was demonstrated very early in the term and led by none other than Terence Michael Drew. He plundered and he robbed the treasury of millions. Over $4 million, my straight dog family, spent on the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum. Yes, my straight dog family, very early.
Currently it's under construction, and we're hoping, really pushing to see if we can complete it by September 16th. I know that's a lofty goal, but we are really pushing. If not, definitely we want to complete it by this year. We expect it to cost in the region of maybe about $4 million. Construction is going on, and to about maybe $4 million grand total at the end of the day.
And yes, my straight dog family, without respecting the Procurement and Administration Act of the country, he started construction on the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum. There's a billboard. He's taken it down. And according to his advice, my straight dog family, the advice of his own Attorney General, what you did was criminal, as he spent money from the Treasury in total disregard, as I said before, for the Procurement and Administration Act. And this, according to the disgraced Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin, it is criminal, my straight dog family.
Procurement Act requires that there be a competitive bidding process to ensure the government gets value for money, and it makes it a crime to spend money from the Treasury without the procurement process being completed.
You've heard that for yourselves, my straight dog family, coming from his advisor. But Terence Michael Drew had the gall to tell a bold-faced lie to a reporter who requested an update on the project. Believe it or not, he said this when confronted with a straightforward question like this.
Yolanda Weeks, Win FM. Mr. Prime Minister, can we get an update on the Robert Bradshaw Museum?
With respect to the Robert Bradshaw, we have done the stabilization work of the building. So if you go there, you'll see the stabilization work. There was a pause in the whole process because we are doing the procurement and so forth for it. But we already done a lot of the planning and so forth. So that will go forward. We will have a Robert L. Bradshaw Museum in Bath.
Pause, my straight dog family. It is still pause. Terence Michael July plundered the resources of the country once again. This time in the amount of $6 million from the Treasury, which he authorized for the procurement of 1,000 water tanks without following the Procurement and Administration Act, my straight dog family. Again, my straight dog family, he did not follow the act.
We have signed a contract to purchase water storage tanks. So at least when the water truck goes, they have a larger receptacle to store the water. I would also like to thank Mr. Ashley Allers, because he's the one who brought the idea.
And my straight dog family, again. But just recently the country learned that after so many years, all the tanks have not been accounted for. And it is obvious all the tanks have not been distributed based on this conversation he had with a caller.
Good morning, Honorable Prime Minister. What I'm going to look after you when you were small that you reach that Prime Minister. But I want you to put things for me. Me children them ain't getting on the ice castle though. Me children them ain't getting on the water tanks.
Okay. I want the names.
To help them
No
get
problem.
the water tank. And good Prime Minister,
Casilda,
you take care.
thank you very much. Yes, we are distributing the water tanks. The water tanks we are using, especially when we had the drought situation, so that people can have a large receptacle to fill up. We continue to distribute them, but this is Casilda, and I would ask my office to look into it and to see where we are with it.
Highway robbery, my straight dog family. So 3 years ago, the people entrusted this Labour government with a sacred responsibility to lead, to serve, and to deliver on the promises made with such conviction while in opposition. Tonight, therefore, my straight dog family, I come before you and I cannot speak of progress, as none was made. So all that is left to do is to expose 3 years of failure, deception, and betrayal. We were promised transformation. What we got was stagnation, as every capital project, according to Dr. Drew, is on the way, my Straight Dog family.
The capital project, I will say, let me go through them for you, if you don't mind. Smart homes, on their way. Right? On the way. The hospital, on the way as well. The school, on the way as well. The solar plant or solar farm, on the way as well. There are some others I will mention, not yet, but they are definitely coming on the way. We have about 2 other major investments. One will be an agriculture major investment that will also come. We have an investment for the port, airport, that is advancing significantly as well. I'm saying that when, in the next few months, I'm almost certain that we'll run out of construction workers here.
Well, we are still waiting. Workers have downed their tools for almost 3 years. Workers anticipated back in 2022 when this shovel-ready project, the Bassey High School, was unceremoniously stopped by Drew. But they're on the way, he said. We were promised prosperity. What we got was poverty. We were promised leadership. What we got was a government in chaos, directionless, spineless, and utterly incompetent, my Straight Dog family. Let's just talk about the state of our nation. After 3 years under this Terence Michael July administration, a nation, or our nation, is starving for leadership. Quite literally, our nation is starving for food. Food security, once taken for granted, is now a growing concern. Families are struggling to put meals on the table, while the government issues glossy statements and empty platitudes, my Straight Dog family. Remember, the Minister of Agriculture, who told us about money growing on trees. He told us about 25 by 25. Now we understand that's gone to 30 by 30. But nothing, absolutely nothing, is happening in agriculture. There's no strategy to support our farmers. This farmer called into a radio station just last week and said this, my Straight Dog family.
For the agriculture section, I don't think the people in charge know what they're doing with the agriculture program. You hear me?
Yeah.
Farmers got too much spoilage out here in the land, can't get it out of the land, and they're asking more people to come plant.
Too much what?
More land for
Spoilage.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I figure something is wrong there too, Mago. Because they were trying to say plant more by 2025 and whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't think the marketing part is working.
Marketing.
And I want to agree with you that a lot of food there, but you can't even take it out of the ground because you can't sell it nowhere.
You want storage, you want marketing and all of
I
that.
got them out in the ground right now. I call upon someone who is attached to the minister to come look at what I got, so that the minister could see with the 2 eyes. Here the individual to 2 eyes. What paper job what you got to do with the minister? Me and call for the minister of health, and then call for the minister of education, I call for the minister of agriculture. How come the minister of agriculture ain't got nothing to do with what happened on farm?
Yeah.
sad. It is sad with how it are going in the country, you know. And
Sad. According to that farmer, Ras Magu, Isaac. Because there's no policy to reduce our dependency or our dependence on imports. And no interest in securing our people's most basic need, food. And while people go hungry, they also suffer due to a healthcare system that is crumbling under neglect. Clinics are under-resourced. No medication. Hospitals lack equipment, or hospitals with equipment are not being used. Medicine shortages are becoming normal. The hard-working nurses and doctors are underpaid, overworked, and undervalued. Where is the plan, Mr. Prime Minister? Where is your leadership? The health system under Dr. Ju's leadership as Minister of Health has been a cause for great concern since he took that portfolio. Great concern to many families who have lost loved ones at the Joseph N. France General Hospital. As a matter of fact, very early in his term, a young Dr. Melissa Cable Wilson, who came from the bowels of labor, but in obvious frustration went to social media, my Straight Talk family, to express her disappointment in the performance of some members of her fraternity. Patients are dying at JNF, she wrote. I am sick of referring patients and they are denied access because doctors are lazy or have big egos so they can't be spoken to, she continued. But read the conclusion, my Straight Talk family. That was the most troubling part. As Dr. Cable wrote, what some may call the inevitable in bold capital letters, the patient always pays the price. And just last week, my Straight Talk family, just last week, in a statement to the National Assembly, the Prime Minister and Minister of Health, Terence Michael Jew, tried but failed to convince the country that in the past 3 years under his watch, there has been a 20% reduction in deaths at the hospitals. He said this.
So, for example, in the second quarter of 2023, we had 132 deaths here in the Federation in hospital across St. Kitts and Nevis. In 2024, we had 125 deaths in the same quarter. And in 2025, so we went from 132 in 2023, 125 in 2024, and to 104 in 2025. That's after second quarter. So these second quarter numbers show us that we have now turned the corner and the number of deaths are dropping significantly. It means, therefore, that all the measures that we have been putting in place, we are finally starting to see that those measures are translating in saving lives. And we know that is a real number. We have examined the number and so forth. So to go from 132 to 125 to 104, so that 104 number is a significant number, because that would be 21 less deaths during that period. And 21, that is a significant number, maybe about a fifth or so. And that is about 20%. So to have a 20% drop-off in anything is a significant number, especially in a small country. Those people whose lives are saved are our family members, our friends, our neighbors, and so forth. And so I really want to give a big shout out to the Ministry of Health, the doctors, the nurses, the maids, the cleaners, the orderlies. Without that full cadre, those who work in the lab, those who work in X-ray, those who are the physiotherapists, those who are the psychologists, whatever role you play at the hospital, this has definitely demonstrated that your work is really resonating. And so I wanted the country to know that we are now seeing that significant drop-off of intra-hospital deaths at JNF. So when
drop-off of deaths at JNF. My Straight Talk family, under this current Terence July administration, the health system in St. Kitts Nevis can only be described as horrible and needs strengthening. And I make that proposition in the context of the World Health Organization's, WHO's definition of health system strengthening, which goes like this: as any array of initiatives that improves one or more of the functions of the health systems and that leads to better health through improvements in access, coverage, quality, or efficiency. And this can be found in the WHO glossary of 2019. But Terence Michael July, my Straight Dog family, has failed us as he announced that the number of in-hospital deaths has dropped to 104 in the second quarter of 2025, down from 125 in 2024 and 132 in 2023. He provided this as evidence that the government's healthcare investments are saving lives. But the truth is, a reduction in hospital deaths does not necessarily mean better care or more saved lives. Not at all, Terence Joe. In fact, without additional data, the numbers you presented has raised more questions than there are answers. For example, were fewer people admitted to the hospital in 2025? And if so, a drop in deaths would naturally follow. But that would have little to do with improvements in healthcare delivery. Another important factor to consider is the age and conditions of the patients who died. Recall, coming out of COVID-19 pandemic, many families became more reluctant to hospitalize their elderly relatives, especially those with terminal or end-of-life conditions. My Straight Dog family, all I'm saying, if Terence Michael Drew wanted the country to understand what is really happening, he would provide a full breakdown of the data. What were the ages of the people who died in hospital? What were the causes of death? Were these deaths preventable, such as from delayed treatment, infections, or medical errors? Were they expected due to advanced illness? How many people were admitted overall, and with what types of conditions? These are pertinent questions. They are essential. Imagine, for instance, that overall deaths declined, but preventable deaths increase. Like that young man who died just last week while waiting to access the MRI for a diagnosis. But what is happening is deeply concerning and suggests that the healthcare system is failing in its most basic, as I said, most basic responsibilities. What if the only decline was among the elderly, whose families opted for home-based care? My Straight Talk family, it is also important to view this announcement in the context of the post-pandemic landscape. It must also show the comparison, my Straight Dog family. If the Prime Minister wants to claim credits for saving lives, he must offer more than a single number and instead an annual and not a quarterly comparison. It must also show us how those lives were saved, what care improved, and what challenges still remain. Anything less risks misleading the public and undermining trust in our health system. Misleading, my Straight Dog family. The public is nothing new for Jew. He did so, like I said earlier, when he talked about new dialysis machines, when they were used machines. His latest, as I said, he received 2 new ambulances out of 4. And in fact, they were used ambulances. My Straight Dog family, a nation's health is a nation's wealth. We were always told that. So we are coming up short, and you're misleading the country, my Straight Dog family, when you spoke about the 2 ambulances.
Today we received yesterday we received the first 2 of the fleet of ambulances that we'll be having here in St. Kitts and Nevis. So those 2 should be handed over tomorrow. But as I said, there was a delay because of the supply chain issues, and we are expected to receive all by November 2025. And so, Madam Deputy Speaker, we know that these 2 adding to the fleet will make a significant difference. We'll make sure never again that there is a dearth of ambulances here on St. Kitts. This would ensure that the emergency services will almost always be delivering its service at a very high level.
And that's the fabrication, again, of Terence Michael July. He never wants to tell us the truth. But my Straight Dog family, the other issue I must raise is water. And water, it is said, is life. Recall, my Straight Dog family, what Congress said while in opposition. He couldn't believe that in this day and age we had no water. And he, the engineer, was to be the savior. Remember, he followed up on the contract signed by Team Unity with Bede. And he had a song and dance over there in Keon. Yes, we remember that, my Straight Dog family. But it wasn't too long before we heard the complaints, my Straight Dog family, about the itching, the people in Keon.
So I went Keon this morning to drop off something for somebody, right? My partner tell me he glad water come back, but when he beat it, the water burning here. He look like Labour Keon people, salt water to be with. The man say he beat it, he face about a Labour high vote for them here.
And it may sound like a joke, but not only Chocolate told us about what his friend told him. A man living in Keon all his life said for the last 2 years, hear me, for the last 2 years he has not received any water. And it has to be serious. That has to be a serious concern for those people living in Upper Tank, as they call it, in Keon. Yes, Keon, where Congress was just dancing and whining about water. Hip hip, hooray, he said. You heard him? Hip hip, hooray. But people in the very Keon in which he's celebrating have no water. And this was very clearly outlined by Ras Magu, again my Straight Talk family, on public radio just sometime last week, I think it was. Ras Magu had this to say about water and the serious problems they are still having in Keon, my Straight Talk family. Up to this very night I am speaking, that's how the so-called engineer delivers. He delivers by telling lies.
Yeah, Ratmago is a go down valley up again. Water. Keon still has a water problem. Because Ratmago presently now ain't in the water for over 2 years. Presently now ain't in the water for over 2 years. I fed up at complaining. Nobody said me. I have to jam nightly taking water in a bottle. But
what part of Keon is this? What part of Keon is this?
Up top Keon, Tank Valley of Keon.
So now you're saying that you don't have any water regularly?
For 2 years now, big life, for 2 years now.
I mean, but why you don't have water up here?
Brother, not only me, everybody that is...
That's what I'm saying. I mean, why? I thought the water, since the water there, that you all would get water, no?
But I'm telling you how it's all right.
That's a serious problem. Serious
problem.
And you ain't getting no water.
And you ain't getting no water.
It's a serious problem.
Yes, it's a serious problem. And one can glean from this current release from the Water Services Department, my Straight Talk family, for the week ending August the 9th. Look at the schedule. Right around the country, water is being rationed. Right around the island, my Straight Talk family. Congress promised that when he finish Keon, he will address the wells at Shadwell. He said he will do so many things, my Straight Talk family. He did promise. What has he done? Nada. Absolutely nothing, my Straight Talk family. He has done nothing. He boasted. Yes, he boasted that he won't wait. Well, he boasted first that he was going to Shadwell when he left Keon. These were his words.
When we're finished with that in Keon, we're going to move to the well in Shadwell, but we're going to work on it and we are going to fix it. Mark my word, we are going to fix it.
Going to fix it. And he said it wouldn't take 7 years, my Straight Talk family.
So I want you to know that the government is working to solve this water problem, and it's not going to take 7 years. It's not going to take 5 years. It's not going to take 3 years. It's not going to take 2 years. But we say we're not giving timelines.
But in fact, it has taken 3 years so far, Congress Maynard. Is it because Bede hasn't moved to Shadwell because Bede is owed? The self-proclaimed mayor of Keon said this, that he's owed. Is that the reason why Bede is not being contracted any further? And while we say the self-proclaimed mayor of Keon, I understand that he's underwent some procedures in a hospital in the US, and on behalf of Straight Talk, on my own behalf, I wish him, Lennox, a speedy recovery. But meanwhile, my Straight Talk family, water, the most essential resource for life, has become a luxury in many parts of this country. In 2025, we still have citizens collecting water in buckets from trucks and broken pipes. What has this government done to secure long-term sustainable access to clean water for everyone? Give him credit. His move to desalination. But it has caused us great concern for those of us who live in the Bird Rock area. Good idea, but a very bad location. And he has done nothing about it. My Straight Dog family. Not even to give us some respite by publishing the environmental impact assessment. Because we are concerned. It may be worse than Keon and goes beyond itching of the skin. It could be dangerous. My Straight Talk family, as we conclude, food security, money on trees, Tabasco, 25 by 25. We heard what's happening in the fields. Tourism, we have a minister who is overwhelmed by her own confession. In housing, Jeffrey must tell us where the money gone. Slow student, you signed a contract, or you told us about a contract signed with East Coast Housing Development. Where the money gone, Jeffrey? Where is the money gone, slow student? And then in social development, we have a lady baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the IMF. All she was worried about, she paid off her student loan and don't care about the people. Our CBI program, it's under the watchful eyes of the Europeans and the United States. Our Citizenship by Investment Initiative, which was now under threat. A program that once brought in revenue is now on the verge of collapse due to the government's refusal to ensure proper oversight, transparency, and international accountability. And why? Ministers, we are told, enrich themselves while the people suffer. Transparency is not just lacking, it is non-existent. Ask a question and you're met with silence, deflection, or lies. Unfortunately, we must thank Almighty God who answered our prayers that we were not on this list for visa bonds, my Straight Dog family. And this came from the State Department just a few days ago. Just a few days ago, my Straight Dog family, let me get that sorted out for you. Just a few days ago, we learned, fortunately, I say fortunately, my Straight Dog family, that we are not on this list and subject to visa bonds as part of the pilot program introduced by the United States of America. We are fortunate and we must, I said, must thank Almighty God for this. We have to. We have no choice, my Straight Dog family. We do have absolutely no choice whatsoever. As we learned this just yesterday, I think it was.
Consistent with Executive Order 14159, beginning August 20th, nationals of Malawi and Zambia applying for B1 B2 business and tourist visas will be required to post a bond of up to $15,000. This targeted common sense measure reinforces the administration's commitment to U.S. immigration law while deterring visa overstays.
So we say, thank you, Lord. But as we conclude, first of all, there is no vision, no strategy, no plan for the sustainable development. How do you create jobs without a plan for agriculture, tourism, technology, and education? How do you build a future when you are consumed with covering up your failures in the present? Jobs will not fall from the sky. They must be built on policies that are green, smart, and future-proof. But this government is not interested in sustainability. That's, they only talk about it. They are only interested in survival and in protecting themselves. My Stray Dog family, we cannot continue on this broken path. We cannot survive another year, let alone another term, under a government that has proven it cannot govern. We must rise, my Stray Dog family. We must demand better, and we must remind that power belongs to the people, not to the privileged few who sit behind closed doors, dividing contracts and cutting backroom deals. Let us be clear. This is not about politics. This is about the soul of our nation. We can do better. We must do better, and together we will. But what is the way forward? Amid all this failure and frustration, we must not lose hope, because the problems we face, while serious, are not beyond repair. What we lack is not resources or potential. What we lack is leadership with vision, integrity, and the political will to act. The way forward demands bold, practical solutions rooted in fairness and sustainability. We must rebuild and expand our tourism product, not just by focusing on numbers, but by investing in the quality of our destination, protecting our environment, empowering local entrepreneurs, and creating jobs that offer dignity, not just survival. Tourism must benefit all, not just a selected few. Housing, my Stray Dog family, we must make it a basic human right, not a privilege. The legislation exists to support the poor, the vulnerable, and the indigent. Yet it sits on the shelf while people sleep under tarpaulins or on the floor or in overcrowded, unsafe conditions. We need a national housing strategy that delivers affordable, resilient homes where they are needed most, with transparency and efficiency. And we must finally confront the deep social ills that plague our communities. Youth employment, substance abuse, domestic violence, and crime. These issues cannot be solved by photo ops and slogans. They require real investment in education, social services, mental health support, and economic opportunity. In short, we need a government that works, not one that makes excuses. If those currently in power cannot deliver on these most basic needs, if they continue to fail the people while enriching themselves, then we the people must start thinking seriously about a change in government. The time to start thinking is now about that change in government. Because leadership is not about talk, it is about action. And if this government will not act, then it is time to elect one that will. Let us build a country that works for everyone. The time for excuses is over. The time for real change is now. We must start to think about change, because after 3 long years, this July Labour government still can't find its way. And that's my story tonight, my Stray Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I decided to go on much longer, because it's important that we understand that this is not the right government at this time in this country. This government is not acting. And we must start thinking seriously about a change. I'm going to open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. And when I do so, my Straight Dog family, and momentarily, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let's just try to be fair to all concerned. And let's just try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let's just ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And my Straight Dog family, in saying and doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, at 9:21, I'm going to give you back some time. Don't you worry. We go straight to the lines and take our first caller. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liebert.
Good night, my dear. Always getting first, eh? Yes, always look forward to that.
Leadership means duty.
Means duty?
Honor. Country. And character. It also means listening from time to time.
Also means listening from time to time.
I repeat, leadership means duty, honor, country, and character. It also means listening from time to time. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening, my dear. Always welcome your quotations. Each time around, you always start the ball with some thought-provoking quotations. And this one, no different. Leadership means duty, honor, country, and character. It also means listening from time to time. At 9:23, I'm entertaining your calls, my Straight Dog family. And the lines are open. I tarried a little longer tonight. And forgive me, and I crave your indulgence. And thank you for your indulgence, because after 3 years and reflecting on where we are and where we came from, we ought, and we did, take our time to ensure that we got it right. Caller, you're live. Hello,
Good evening, Mr. Liebert. Hello.
Good evening, my dear. That sounds like Kali Kwan's aunt. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't get my voice already. How are you?
I am peaceful. And just in the event you asked me, I tried. I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
How was those two holiday film to you? Good, you was resting up.
Restful. It was restful, yes, my dear. What about you?
Oh, that's lovely. Yes, I did some rest too because I am vacation.
You're on vacation?
You get to...
I was going to preempt you that I spoke to your brother, but he promised to get back to me, and he never did. Well, we haven't spoken in any detail, but he did say he was at a meeting and he will call me back. He never did, so I trust and hope he is a real Burgan like you are. Or the Burgans don't back.
Yes.
You know? He did.
You better believe that, Mr. Lloyd.
He told me this much that he has retired.
Yes, he retired now.
Okay, so that's...
You better be...
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm still anxious to speak to you. Sorry.
Huh?
I said I'm anxious to speak with him because, you know, I would really like to get his side of that story that you are the one rather who is really pushing without fear of any consequences. But Yes, good to hear you.
That's right. And I'm not gonna back down tonight. I'm not gonna back because my brother, that he know my brother wrong, and he's supposed to don't give my brother just up. What is the stopping? He's supposed to don't give my brother just. You hear Mr. Libar?
Yes, we're here. The whole world is the whole world is listening to you.
But and he's not going to for tonight at all.
Okay.
So I asked him that commissioner. I asked him tonight what he gonna do about the matter. What he gonna do about the matter with my brother? He's supposed to be and respect him. He have the officer Jefferson. Still working for government, still have a government. What's really wrong with this commissioner? The evil that man does
comes after them
and do, it is almost after them. He's going up for the police, but he better do what he come clean because he ain't going up to Mr. Life. And he showing tonight. He ain't going up. And this government were here, but thinking they just playing with everybody in this country. Everybody in this country, they just didn't want to go in India. And them holding up the backside with people's money, export money. Soon think it's going to soon run. I think it's going to soon go in corrupt, bankrupt and corrupt because they don't know where they're doing. None of them know what they're doing from the Prime Minister. They don't know what they're doing. He's building a hell of the islands up there for you, all that is big tax money and passport money down there. Eh? Money by the school for the children, them. Who go back? Eh? Timothy used to give everybody 500 and give them 250. Now we done. Them Sabonium Jada. What's really wrong with he need to come out? People in there, they need to come out. All of them, they need to come out. They know what they're doing. That's the shit. Yes. They ain't serious with people who are there. Everybody in India, they have power in their hand. India, they have power. They could take the backside back over. Let them go back and give back country to run the country in the right direction. Already COVID demand, what are you doing? They just gone in the queer and grab and pull the backside. What are they doing? They need to come out about healthcare again. He needs to get healthcare. He needs to get serious. When they take the backside and go and complain. What's that like a dog? They need to, Mr. Libar, they need to come. Need to come because they don't know what they're doing. Okay. Come the dog, canvas all of them. Every night water going sunny point. Every night. Come to my night, I'm going to be with a bottle of water. I can't be good, I got to be with a bottle of water. What is that? But look where the thing is coming to. We think it's coming to. The people, I think it's enough. They better get serious and get out them people right now. Get them out. Now we have to kill them 5 years. Get them out.
Okay.
Dr. Joe, never he doing is about them. He needs to come out.
Okay, got you loud and clear, my dear.
Yeah, we think he needs to come out. You know what?
I can.
And then damn nonsense, they're doing job what they want in the country.
Okay. Okay. Thanks a lot for your intervention tonight.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. I could feel your.
I'll talk to my brother tomorrow.
Yes, please. Okay.
A wonderful night. Night and get home safe.
Thanks a lot, and you have yourself a wonderful night as well. And yes, my Straight Dog family, you can hear the passion, and many people feel the same way and think the same way like that lady. Some may not be as bold as that particular lady to come out and say it like it is. But it is time we stand up. We have that protection of our fundamental rights of free expression as guaranteed in our Constitution, and we ought to take that seriously. I don't know how much people have realized that since the government has decriminalized, seemed to be something missing from that email, it has continued as criminalized what? We'll trust that emailer would get back to the keyboard and finish that email. It is often said, read this other email, that what gone by the morning can come good at night. 3 years ago, July lost his way when he appointed a man who committed a criminal act in the person of Garth Lucifer Wilkin as our Attorney General. July has lost his way for the ordinary man, woman, and child of this country, as the high cost of living is way beyond our reach. July has lost his way when he sold us into Tabasco peppers, slavery. Instead of July created an environment in which businesses can thrive, he is busy fumigating the stores at Port Zante as if they are the Aegis Egypti mosquitoes. July lost his way when he abandoned the biggest solar farm in the Caribbean, then spends millions for the rental of generators from Agrico. July spent millions on Bradshaw's private residence to put millions in the commerce coffers. July discontinued the many social safety nets initiated by Team Unity for the poor and needy, then boasted that they had paid off their student loans in record time. July's sweetheart deal allowed Cashley Allers to laugh all the way to the bank with his over $5 million of the nation's money for 1,000 leaky water buckets. July allowed East Coast Housing Development abscond to Trinidad and Tobago with millions of dollars of our money without building even one of the 2,400 houses. July abandoned building the Basti High School on the clean site at Ponds and resorted back to this old contaminated BHS site. July allowed the Soka engineer to build the Basti desalination plant to poison us with contaminated water. Patches, all is at loss as July road is heading to a definite dead end. Thank you with that email. I want to thank this caller for holding. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Yes. Good night, Brother Patches, and good night to all the listeners.
Good night, sir.
This is a potential independent candidate for the next upcoming election. Winston, welcome. Mr. Patches, I have a question to ask you, and I know you're going to throw a question at me. In all the promises that was made by the Jew administration, if they were to happen, contrary to the downfall right now, do you think they were good mandate promises to the Federation and the people? Do you think they were good? How did you felt about them? They have not done. But like I'm going to reiterate, if they were to be fulfilled, we would have been in a better condition Am I correct? I'm getting to a point.
Well, I always take these questions as rhetorical questions, but hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
I says for the sake of dialogue, if you ask if introduces the conditional, and if he had built the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, for an example, everyone ought to have welcomed that because it would create jobs and it would be some, it would derive economic benefits for the country. So that's my response. I don't normally answer questions, but I will respond.
Don't go no further.
Yes, sir.
You answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am making an offer to the people of the Federation of St. Kitts. Should I be elected to the should I be elected to the constituency?
Uh-huh.
I challenge. I am running it. And there are other candidates of constituency choice, which will result in a coalition administration. If we could get along and I be selected to be that leadership that this country needs, the best leadership ever, the friendly leadership ever, the humanitarian leadership ever, and I meet the needs and the demand of the people, which I am going to say, at my first, after my swearing in, I am going to mandate, and I could be challenged for this, a $3,000 as a dividend or a stimulus to all the natives of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Moving forward.
So where that money going to come from? They can.
Patrice, you are an intelligent man. I anticipate that question. Where that money is going to come from? I know who stole the money, and I know there will be money left in the treasury. All the money is not going to go because there are microscopes and all the red hands that is trying to suck up that money. So I know that.
So you won't do like Dr. Duke? He gave us a dividend for once. He promised us dividend too,
I am contrary. I am opposite to that. You hear what I'm saying? The money will be go to the people, the natives of the country. I will take charge of all the handicapped, the needies, the mental unstable, unbalanced, as they call crazy. They are not crazy. They just have a mental unbalance of their mind. All the promises that Labour administration made, I will and I shall fulfill them. And I will try to make the country, bring the country together, whether you PAM, Labour, NRP, CCM, Independent, or whoever. My aim is to bring the country together in harmony, in a humanitarian manner. And I alone cannot make all the offers and the mandate. I welcome everyone injection so that things could happen. Because time has due. Time has due and far from fetch. But it is near, yet coming. To the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, think of what I'm going to say. Because every administration going, they do. Yes, I'm listening.
My brother, right? You campaign on Straight Talk each time around, and Straight Talk, I believe, has a well enough audience, and it seems we're gonna have to first of all, when we introduce you, we said this is a paid political broadcast, and how much are you willing to pay? But I want to give you that option here. As a paid political broadcast, right?
Let me come to you with
because it's Straight Talk, so we allow you, but we have to indemnify ourselves and make sure that we get this, as I said, paid political broadcast. You have a couple seconds. Yes, sir.
Your reward is dear. Your reward is dear. Straight Talk reward is dear. And Patrice, I already told you, you're responsible for me. And there is no way you're going to go. Because if you think you are going to dead or retire, I will find you. And I will put you to sit right there as the chief ideological dynamic thinkers.
Whatever that means,
Because
but
you
thanks a lot. Yeah.
Huh?
I said, whatever that means, I thank you. Yeah.
Well,
but
I will welcome you, and you will be the first to be head of my cabinet. Because you have the knowledge and we learn from you. You made Winston welcome he is in this political arena.
I wish you well, my brother. I wish you well. We're out of time, though. I have some callers waiting.
I will yield to others.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that, my Straight Talk family, was paid political broadcast. We have not collected for it nonetheless. But let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Mr. Vatel.
How is the Bible man tonight?
Vatel, good night.
Good night, sir. Okay, we seem to have lost the Bible man. Don't know if you perhaps want some energy in that telephone, but the lines are open. We seem to have lost the Bible man. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
You want to talk to me tonight now?
Yes, caller, you're live. I'm happy you got back in. Lest you would say all kind of things. But God is a good God.
You don't want to talk to me tonight?
God is a good God. Let me hear your Bible verses. Time is of the essence all the time. Mm-hmm.
Welcome. What campaign? What you did? He was campaigning.
So you want the campaign campaign for Christ for me? I'll give you three minutes to campaign for Christ. Go ahead. Why are you laughing?
Listen, come and tell you something tonight. You hear?
Mm.
I'm asking you a question. I could use the overseer line to call you.
Of course you can.
Well, you see, that is it. I want to know.
Of course you can.
Well, now, listen, tell you something here tonight. That is, every single person God make, they believe they're smarter than anybody else, is it? But I can say something tonight. Everybody are pushed on the poor man. And I think in the place, blessed is the man that considereth the poor. And when we hear people come back up your show at we don't trust them cars. You hear? Because everybody wants a piece of the pie. But we know that one man that's trying to push out. Nothing again could stop him to get back there. If God says he's supposed to be there to be a deliverer for sainted people, he's going to be there. And with my water, he's going to go. So, I am going to finish now. Listen. God is a refuge and strength in the present time of trouble. The next one, I will look upon the hill. When my help cometh from the Lord, which maketh heaven and earth. You understand? And people must understand that God who rules this whole universe. He set up
Push down.
And you pull down. And before that, commotion cometh neither from the east,
nor from the west,
nor from the west,
nor from the south.
God set up and pull down. That's a good night.
Have a good night, my dear brother. Always look forward to your what I call spiritual interventions. And at 9:46, for those of you who may have joined me belatedly, I welcome you. And tonight we are reflecting on the 3 years under Terence Michael Drew administration. 3 long years, I may add. And that Drew administration still cannot find its way. We go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you alive. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Mr. Liber, how are you doing tonight, man?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, good night to you and the listeners home and abroad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great quote there. The part of the quote that I'm interested in is honor, character, and our leadership must be able to listen from time to time. A lot of constructive criticisms been coming in on these airwaves, and I personally feel our politicians not listening to the people that put them there. The leaders, they don't have no integrity. They're selling out the place, and they're not representing the people that put them there. Just a quick reminder, some housekeeping work. To the gentleman that's running, I want to just give him a piece of advice. Straight up front from the beginning right now, whenever he talks about a federation, you got to remember, it's not a federation of Senkits. It's a federation of Senkits and Nevis. Got to get that clear from get-go. Because if you're going to be representing the country and whatever district you're in, you got to remember that. Going forward, Patches, a lot of stuff going on in Senkits and Nevis. One of my biggest things to talk about is the corruption. Seems like it's the most corrupted place in the Western Hemisphere, at least based on size. But yeah, Patches, 3 years gone. Well, yeah, like it's gone now, right? Today's what, the 6th or 7th?
It's gone.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, you're right on target, man. 3 years exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 years exactly, and undoubtedly, it seems like we have lost the way on both islands, really. Because Patches, there's a chain link. There's a link chain across the Narrows right now. Got Nevis and Senkits bind up right now. The economy is not moving on both islands. The country's deadlocked. The place need new leadership. Based off all the money that came into the CPI, that money went everywhere else except developing the country and raising the quality of life for the people. A framework should have been put in place so that the working class could get a dividend from get-go. This government spoke about a dividend. I think they were able to give 1 or 2, and that was discontinued.
One.
Okay, 1. Stand corrected. Yes. And the Platinum program is now in shambles. So therefore, we have to start thinking outside the box. We need diversification, and we need to pump that money into agriculture. And Patches, over on the Nevis end real quick before I get off. There's a situation going on up at Hamilton Estate where foreigners is now controlling that property, and they're proposing to develop it and maybe put a museum there and charge people $20 or something like that to enter the property or to enter into that museum to learn about our own history. and stone wall fences are going up around the property. Local divisions are not going to be able to go onto that property as they like anymore. The Indian Castle Orchard, which was a great successful project by the one called Banky on Nevis. Somehow he has moved on from that project. And some months after he has moved on, that project has fallen down like a drunken sailor man. We need to pay attention to what's going on in our country. And it's a call for the removal of the agriculture minister on Nevis. And lastly, before I get off, I just want to encourage all the independent-minded persons to start thinking about coming forward. And to the young people of the Federation, you guys can make a difference. And I encourage all the young people to show an interest in the political affairs of the country. And I'll leave it there. Thanks a lot. You guys have a good night.
Thank you very much as well for your contributions. The level of contribution that we always look forward to. The other day, reads this email. The Attorney General was boasting in his usual manner about the amount of laws he has passed in the House since becoming Attorney General. Many regarded his statement as pure nonsense and making a showy general display of himself, calculated to impress the general public. However, in Dwyer's last week's commentary, he told the Attorney General in no uncertain terms that the Procurement Act is a joke. And although I commend the Waffle for speaking the unvarnished truth about this legislation, I dare say that Straight Talk has been constantly saying that the Procurement Act is a joke and always provided tangible evidence to substantiate the claim. Nevertheless, we thank you, Mr. Dwyer, for exposing this show-self AG with only waffle talk and no action. Reads this email. This other email reads, the members of the capacity of Fisher Corp have a serious problem, and we want everybody to know about it. The members all agreed on a date for an AGM at a meeting we had weeks ago. We made it clear that we are getting rid of the president because he is not functioning for us. And we're getting rid of another one because she lied bad and is causing a lot of problems in the co-op. The run went to the registrar, and she must be had a meeting with the board members and put off the AGM that should have happened since June and ain't give us a new date. The members asked for the minutes, and all was said is that the deputy registrar took the minutes and they are waiting on them to share with us. The secretary to the co-op was at the meeting, so why she ain't take the minutes? We ain't got no minutes up to now. We want everybody to know what the real problems are. They are trying to keep down the co-op. The co-op moving forward ever since a lady from Keon came on board to help us. We had good events and got 2 grants so far from her working with us. The president and secretary of the co-op, registrar and peers fighting her down just for helping us. We're shocked when we see a report showing that the secretary has a lot of co-op money in her possession. How the secretary controlling the money? The secretary competing against the co-op, selling fish, and so that the same registrar is her friend and ain't stopping her. All these illegal things happening and she ain't doing nothing but fighting down the lady who genuinely helping us. The registrar came once to sort out the people whose names should be on the bank account issue and never came back. Every week, for weeks, the lady from Keon was with us down the bay, helping us to operate properly. The biggest events we had down the bay is that same lady who helped us. She promised us that she writing 4 projects to help us. So far, she done write 2. You know how good it is. It feels one here. The president refused to sign the report, so the project on pause. We get shirts and other things that we could use and see from the project. We're moving forward and people trying to sabotage the co-op. All of them vexed because the lady getting paid to write and reverse and oversee the project, beg your pardon. She working hard to help us. She must do it for free. The treasurer resigned because they're fighting him down too. He does push the co-op too, so nothing for us in the Capistia co-op. They don't come around to help us, but they're fighting down those who helping us. We want the co-op to move forward. Help us get the word around to tell Dr. Douglas and Joel that we need a meeting with them down the bay, because this ain't going so. And they need to meet with the lady to cause, because she's making us and the constituency look good. We need AGM to get rid of those people. We want everybody to know how they're fighting down the lady and stopping us from having our AGM. Patches, help us to get the word out. Well, that word must be out. That if it is accurate, we trust it is, that the Capistia Co-op, our Fishers Co-op, being bullied or interfered by the Registrar of Cooperation in St. Kitts and the Permanent Secretary. And you ought to have had your what's it called? Is it a memorandum of agreement or a constitution? What it is called, the co-op, it says, right? But there must be some dates that the meetings, the AGM, the annual general meeting should be held. So we trust that this word going out there would help the people to understand that good governance is important in every area, whether in cooperatives, in government, or wherever. My Straight Talk family. Good night, Mr. Straight Talk. Read this email. You said something tonight. A nation's health is its wealth. But this is why we can't get on board with this sustainable state talk. How in the world will you have a sustainable state and your people are sick and can't get or afford proper treatment, can't feed themselves properly? Agriculture can't catch itself. And on top of that, the education system is crumbling. How we are talking about sustainability? Nonsense. The plan to address these issues can't just be to build new buildings. Read this email. Excuse me. And those are my emails thus far for tonight. I think I've disposed of all of them. And our lines are still open. We do have some remaining minutes for the show. I perhaps will give you 10 or 15 minutes since I tarried long with this particular thesis tonight. And, you know, for those who joined me late, I tried to reflect on the performance or lack thereof of this Terrence July government that has failed us in almost every area of government. I made a point and I spent quite a lot of time on our health. That too is of extreme importance. And every time we've had a doctor, appointed as a Minister of Health, our health situation has deteriorated. And this is the second time we've had a doctor appointed Minister of Health. The first time it was Dr. Earl Asser Martin, who oversaw the decline of our health systems in St. Kitts for almost 10 years. Strange but true. Asser Martin, like Terence Michael Drew, was trained in Cuba. Communist Marxist. And we know what happened under Asser Martin in the health sector, at the hospital. We see what's happening now under Terence Michael Drew. He tried to make a point and he confused all of us when he said that deaths have reduced at the Joseph N. France Hospital. He said this, my Straight Talk family.
So, for example, in the second quarter of 2023, we had 132 deaths here in the Federation in hospital across St. Kitts and Nevis. In 2024, we had 125 deaths in the same quarter. And in 2025, so we went from 132 in 2023, 125 in 2024, and to 104 in 2025. That's after second quarter. So these second quarter numbers show us that we have now turned the corner and the number of deaths are dropping significantly. It means, therefore, that all the measures that we have been putting in place, we are finally starting to see that those measures are translating in saving lives. And we know that is a real number. We have examined the number and so forth. So to go from 132 to 125 to 104, so that 104 number is a significant number, because that would be 21 less deaths during that period. And 21, that is a significant number, maybe about a fifth or so. And that is about 20%. So to have a 20% drop off in anything is a significant number, especially in a small country. Those people whose lives are saved are our family members, our friends, our neighbors, and so forth. And so I really want to give a big shout out to the Ministry of Health, the doctors, the nurses, the maids, the cleaners, the orderlies. Without that full cadre, those who work in the lab, those who work in X-ray, those who are the physiotherapists, those who are the psychologists, whatever role you play at the hospital, this has definitely demonstrated that your work is really resonating. And so I wanted the country to know that we are now seeing that significant drop-off of intra-hospital deaths at JNF. So when
my Straight Talk family, under this current administration, led by our Prime Minister Terence Michael Drew, the health system in St. Kitts and Nevis is horrible, to put it mildly, and it needs strengthening. And I use the World Health Organization's definition of health system strengthening as any array of initiatives that improves one or more of the functions of the health systems and that leads to better health through improvements in access, coverage, quality, or efficiency. And my source is the World Health Organization's glossary of 2019. But Terence Michael Drew has failed us by his announcement that the number of in-hospital deaths has dropped to 104 in the second quarter of 2025. Though from 125 in the second quarter of 2024 and 132 in 2023. And he tried to make the point or to suggest that this is evidence that government healthcare investments are saving lives. But the truth is a reduction in hospital deaths doesn't necessarily mean better care or more saved lives. Why didn't Dr. Drew give us the annual figures? Give us the breakdown of the data if he wants us to analyze them thoroughly. What were the causes of the death? Were the deaths preventable? These are issues he must raise, my Straight Dog family. But what is happening is deeply concerning and suggests, my Straight Dog family, that the healthcare system is failing in its most basic responsibilities under the ministry or Minister of Health and Prime Minister. The other issue I raise, my Straight Dog family, are the ambulances. Why are we begging or buying used ambulances? Why is the question. Why can't we get all brand new ambulances? Ambulances are not necessarily made to manufacture or to specs. They're on the shelves. And I stand corrected, but I know that ambulances are found on the shelves. So why has he gone to use ambulances, my Straight Dog family? And posted this on his Facebook page, posting, my Straight Dog family. Why? Don't you think that we deserve better? I think we do. What do you think, my Straight Dog family? But this is the kind of leadership that we have here in this country, my Straight Dog family. 2 of the 4 used ambulances are here.
That today we received yesterday we received the first 2 of the fleet of ambulances that we'll be having here in St. Kitts and Nevis. So those 2 should be handed over tomorrow. But as I said, there was a delay because of the supply chain issues, and we are expected to receive all by November 2025. And so, Madam Deputy Speaker, we know that these 2 adding to the fleet will make a significant difference. We'll make sure never again that there is a dearth of ambulances here on St. Kitts. This would ensure that the emergency services will almost always be delivering its service at a very high level.
Imagine my Straight Dog family. 2, and you hear how he couches language? 2 of the fleet of 9 ambulances. But according to him, there are 4 used and there are 5 new. Why do we want used ambulances? It reminded me, like I said, of the ambulettes, the tri-ambulettes that we got from Dubai. The minister posed in the ambulettes, my Straight Dog family. The issue of water, still a perennial issue, my Straight Dog family. No matter what you hear the so-called engineer say, my Straight Dog family. But let's go to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Ivan. How are you, sir?
I am peaceful, my dear brother. Good evening. And yourself?
Not bad at all. I noticed something. That when you played that piece from Dr. Drew in relation to the deaths, he started off by saying, he mentioned the second quarter,
Yes.
There was no talk about what happened in the first quarter. I don't know for what reason. And he started off by mentioning, if you play it back, he mentioned it gets 132, 125, and then 104 for St. Kitts and Nevis. And he ended by saying for the JNF hospital.
Yes,
So there seemed some inconsistencies in what he said right there.
You're correct. You spotted that well. And you know, why give us quarterly compare to quarters? Why not give us annual stats, annual data? You know?
He could have given us for 23 and 24 the whole of last year.
Exactly,
the year before.
exactly. He's disingenuous.
But
You know?
the fact they start out by saying this is the deaths for St. Kitts and Nevis, and next week he come back and he said the deaths in just one hospital alone.
Yeah,
that shows there's some dishonesty somewhere along the line, man.
Yes.
He's pulling our legs somewhere. It's not straight. It's straight. It's a make-up thing, and he's not straight. He's not convinced himself.
True.
It's not right. It is not right. Because that inconsistency proves to me that he's misleading us.
And you wonder why
second quarter, what to the first quarter, January to March? Why you couldn't tell us that too?
Exactly.
By comparison.
Yes.
Maybe this is just a good quarter.
Yeah, you look at the best figures.
For whatever, if you think it's a Nevis, I'll just JNF alone. But if it's just JNF alone, maybe the real figure for saying it's a Nevis might be a hell of a lot more than that, and plenty worse.
Yes.
It might be higher this year than last year. Yeah. But he's pulling our legs. He's got to straighten out that. Maybe that's just something to ask him, write him a nice letter and ask him, make up his mind, and give us for January to March as well. So we can compare and see whether we're getting better or not.
True.
Anyway, have a good night, man.
Have a good night as well. Very good observation there, caller. Very good observation. And you can never trust Terrence Michael July. He always leaves you hanging, especially when you hear him with his and so on and so on and so forth, you know? And you wonder why he does it. Why can't he come clean, as we say, in colloquial parlance? But my Straight Talk family, we will think about water. The most essential resource for life. It is life, it is said. But water in St. Kitts has become a luxury in many parts of this country. You heard that lady calling from Sandy Point says her water is off. And this is the schedule from the Water Services Department that goes up to August 9, right around the country. Look at the Olive East tank. Nothing has changed. My heart goes out for these people. And my Straight Talk family, yes, it is frightening. It is frightening, my Straight Talk family, when it comes to the attempts being made to improve the situation in East Bastia and in Bastia generally with the desalination. We know what happened in Keon. The water was itchy. You understand that even now in Keon, people there haven't had water for 2 years. We don't fabricate this. This is coming from someone who lives and was born and raised in Keon.
Yeah, that's my guys that go down valley up again. Water. Keon still has a water problem. Because Ratsmago presently now ain't in the water for over 2 years. Presently now ain't in the water for over 2 years. I fed up by complaining. Nobody has said me. I have to damn nightly taking water in a bottle. But
What part of Kean is this? What part of Kean is this?
Up top Kean, Tank Valley for Kean.
So, Ma, what you saying that you don't have any water regularly?
For 2 years now, big life, for 2 years now.
I mean, but why you don't have water up here?
Brother, not only me, everybody that is...
That's what I'm saying. I mean, why? I thought the water, since the water there, that you all would get water, no?
But I'm telling you how it's on.
That's a serious problem. That's a serious problem.
Serious problem.
And you ain't getting no water.
And you ain't getting no water.
It's a serious problem.
Serious problem, my straight dog family. Tourism, food security, housing. We ask the slow student, beg your pardon, where is the money gone? Slow student, Brian Singh of East Coast Housing Development, we are told esconded. Where has the money gone, my straight dog family? And as we wind down tonight's programming, I want us to look at the way forward. Because amid all this failure and frustration, and for that caller, the number is 663-6672 if you're trying to get in. It is 663-6672 again. 663-6672 is that number. But again, my straight dog family, amid all this failure and frustration, we must not lose hope. We can do better. We must do better. And together, we will do better. But we must be together. Tonight was not about politics. It was about the soul of our nation. Because the problems we face, while serious, are not beyond repair. I understand how you feel about having to survive with 2 more years of this incompetent government. And what we lack is not resources or potential. What we lack is leadership with vision, integrity, and the political will to act. The way forward demands bold, practical solutions rooted in fairness and sustainability, my straight dog family. We must rebuild and expand our tourism product, my straight dog family. We must. And again, we are happy for those who may not have heard that, and we thank Almighty God that the State Department has made a pronouncement, this pronouncement, just yesterday.
The Department published a temporary final rule in the Federal Register. I know that sounds kind of bureaucratic-like for everyone watching at home. This is to implement a visa bond pilot program under the Immigration and Nationality Act, consistent with Executive Order 14159, beginning August 20th. Nationals of Malawi and Zambia applying for B1, B2 business and tourist visas will be required to post a bond of up to $15,000. This targeted common sense measure reinforces the administration's commitment to U.S. immigration law while deterring visa overstays.
So thank Almighty God. I know some people would have wished that St. Kitts and Nevis would have been on that list, but they did not have their way, because God is in the midst of everything. But we must hold our leaders' feet to the fire, because those passports issued without a residency requirement could cause all of us to have problems. And our leaders must take this into mind and take the corrective actions. The way forward demands bold, practical solutions rooted in fairness and sustainability. We must rebuild and expand our tourism product, not just by focusing on numbers, Marshall, but by investing in the quality of our destination, protecting our environment, empowering local entrepreneurs, and creating jobs that offer dignity, not just survival. Tourism must benefit all, not just a select few. We must make housing a basic human right, not a privilege. The current legislation to support the poor, the vulnerable, and the indigent just sits on the shelf while people are sleeping under some circumstances that are unsafe at times. We need a national housing strategy that delivers affordable, resilient homes where they are needed most, with transparency and efficiency. And we must finally confront the deep social ills that plague our communities. We hear the shooting again, here, there, and everywhere. Crime, youth employment, substance abuse, domestic violence. These issues cannot be solved by photo ops and slogans. They require real investment in education, social services, mental health support, and economic opportunity. In short, we need a government that works, not one that makes excuses. If those currently in power cannot deliver on these most basic needs, if they continue to fail the people while enriching themselves, then we the people must start thinking seriously about a change in government. Because leadership is not about talk, it's about action. And this government will not act. Then it is time, if this government does not act, to elect one that will. My Straight Talk family, let's just build a country that works for everyone. The time for excuses is over. The time for real change is now. We must start to think about change, because after 3 long years, this true Labour government still can't find its way. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I must thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, as always. I must thank you, the many viewers, the listeners, those who call, those who send emails, and those who just viewed the program and will review it after tonight. You are the ones, believe me, who make Straight Talk. And for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liebert, and God's Spirit, we will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Be good to all whom you meet. Do your chores for the weekend. Go to church. Spend some time thanking Almighty God for His guidance and protection. And remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, my Straight Talk family, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light and thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye until we connect on Monday.
In the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. best of food and loving care, and from my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceive that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, to the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day, my guardian to keep and my guide. Over every step I take, He will preside. So whatever my mind conceive that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Now I'm on my way with strength and courage from above. No man I'll fear, since God protects me with His love. Strong, pure and true, and so sincere, 'cause my knees I'll always stay to the Lord in prayer. So whatever my mind conceive that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, I gotta reach the top somehow.